In this video, I'm going to the worst rated nail salon in my area with so many one-star reviews to get my nails done. Normally, I do them by myself and very rarely I trust someone to do my nails, but usually I don't. And this time I'm going to go to this worst rated salon. How do I feel about this? I'm terrified. Coming up. Hello guys, this is Anastasia. The reason I'm going to the worst rated nail salon is not because I want to get some attention or views because I like my nails and hands too much. I would never do this in my good state of mind. So the only reason I had to do this is because I lost a bet. A few months ago, I was taking a marketing class and everyone needs to set a goal. So you pick a product that you're selling. In my case, it was online class, and you need to make a certain amount of money. And my goal was 10,000 in 2 months. If you reach this goal, you can get yourself a reward that you picked for yourself, and mine was vacation. And if you do not reach the goal, you have some kind of punishment. It's not supposed to be something too crazy, but something you will not really enjoy doing. So I made a poll on my Instagram. I just mentioned some things that I don't like, such as cooking or mushroom soup or cleaning the house. And you guys picked this punishment for me, which is going to the worst rated nail salon in your area to do your nails. And back then I was really hoping that it's not going to happen. And by the way, I got very close to reaching this goal. I almost reached it, but I didn't completely fulfill the terms. I didn't reach it until the deadline. So unfortunately, I need to do this. I had to do some research. Nobody really advertises their salon as the worst rated salon, but I found one. And I'm really worried on how it's going to work. I will be doing only one hand. I think this will be enough for me. And I don't even know how am I supposed to be prepared. Like, should I take some gloves with me? Should I take some hemostatic agents? I don't know. But I am terrified and I am going to record everything and show you the result. And I guess I will need to fix something after this, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just exaggerating and the nails will turn out pretty good. I picked a design that I like from Pinterest and I'm going to show it to the nail technician and just hope that they will do something that looks like this. I'm ready to go there. This is what my hand looks like now. And I wanted to book an appointment just to be sure that, and they said that there's no need to. They just take walk-ins. So I'm also curious, how fast are they going to take me? Like, do they always have enough nail technicians available to take walk-ins? Okay, I'm here. I arrived. Wish me luck. The name of the salon is Serenity Nail Spa. Salon itself looks pretty good. I would say it doesn't look cheap at all. I really like the interior, how it looks inside. It's pretty clean, and I would even say stylish. It's good. There was nobody in the reception, but once I entered the salon, someone greeted me and asked what I'm going to do. I said I want acrylic extensions almond shape. Sit in front of the table of the nail technician, and then I show this picture of the design I picked, and she calls someone else. They start speaking Vietnamese, and then they ask me to sit on another table of another nail technician. And once she took my hand, I could tell by this confident move, like how confidently she held my hand, that this is an experienced nail technician. Like, I can immediately tell. Instead of an armrest, they used toilet paper or some other kind of paper roll. And once I sit down, I realize that this salon is not what it seems. Because once you give a closer look, you see the brushes that are not very clean. They're all covered with dust and glue and product leftovers. I also see that everything is actually covered with dust and a little gooish because of the gel and other products. And then I noticed LED lamps, and I'm like, oh my god, it's probably a good thing I'm doing acrylic because I'm not going to put my hand inside of this lamp. A couple of days ago, I was working with this hand. I was recording another video, so I did manicure, so there were no excess cuticles on me, and they didn't do any nail prep, which for me is actually a good thing. I was really worried that I will have my cuticles and skin cut. But I had some leftovers of this gel after press on nails that I didn't take off completely. So she took a sandband, an electric nail file. The sandband was used. I could clearly see some leftovers of the product on it to take off this remaining gel. And then she started picking the tips and immediately attaching them to my nails. And from this moment, I could feel how fast everyone is working. I think this is what this kind of salons are always like. They always work fast. Few seconds and I already have 5 tips. So they have this curved shape, and then with the regular scissors she made them shorter and cut the corners to create some kind of element shape. Actually, I think this is more like an stiletto shape after all. And then she picked all these beautiful colors of the foil. We started application by using some kind of clear acrylic powder to add this shine to the free edge. Then she sealed them with the clear powder. I was surprised with the size of acrylic brush. It was at least 28, even though I do have a big hand, so it will make sense to use a big brush with me. And also I asked for long nails. This brush was still too big for that, so she was always touching my surrounding skin with a brush and a monomer. And also she was obviously using more monomer that you're supposed to, and my skin was always covered in it. Just for the record, this is not a good thing because this is how you can get allergic reactions. So this was the part I was worried. Especially if you have like a clean manicure you did a couple days ago, it's just easier to get it. So then she added a few abstract lines with the black gel or acrylic paint. I'm not even sure what it is. It looked like a gel paint, but I'm not sure because we never cured it. And then she took some brush and acetone to add some like cloudiness, like marble look to these lines, which actually looked good. But then I noticed what the dish with the acetone looked like. There were some carbide bits in it. So, oh my goodness, it's like the same dish where you clean drill bits, and once you need your brush, to clean your brush from the paint, you use the same one. I was like, oh my God. So anyways, I have no idea where these lines went now because I don't see any black anymore. Then she added a foil and sealed it with a clear acrylic. And then it was time to do this nude part of the nail. So the first color she tried, she didn't like how it worked and said she's going to use a different one. By the way, if you guys think that I was like pointing everything out, no, I actually was silent. I was just following the instructions I was giving. I was behaving myself like a perfect silent client. And then she did this ombre, and once again I could feel this monomer and brush all over my skin, and I was a little worried at this point. And then something unexpected happened. She asked me to cure my nails in UV lamp. So there was another lamp that was like built in into the table. It was UV, and I was just sitting there for 2 minutes. After that, we started filing and shaping my nails. Once again, I was a little worried that she's about to cut my sidewalls because my skin is super easy to accidentally cut. But the files they were using were old. And once you're using the old files that are not really filing anymore, you cannot cut anyone. So in this case, it was a good thing. So she shaped my nails, then she used a different kind of carbide bits to shape them on the top. By the way, she did a pretty good job doing the cuticle line, like filing the cuticle line, because it was not burning too hard, maybe just a little bit, but I like noticed this. And then everything was covered with dust and gel, and I was worried if this is how we're going to end the service. And no, she actually asked me to wash my hands, then we applied a top coat. So she was applying it all at once on 5 nails, and since you see what my shape looks like, they are like too close to each other, I accidentally touched one nail with my finger, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I think I touched the top coat. I really didn't want this top coat to cure on my skin, but she said, that's okay, just cure, and I did. And then we did the second coat, and then she carefully filed off this gel from my skin, which was okay, by the way, it wasn't even painful. Then she used this oil on me, and since the table was still covered with the dust, and there was dust like everywhere, and then you have this cuticle oil on top, it doesn't feel very comfortable, you know, when you have this oil and dust. So I really felt like I want to wash my hands once again, and I did. So they charged me $60. I left $10 for tips. Now I realized it was probably like not enough. Usually people give more tips, right? Let me know, guys, if this is how you're supposed to do this. And this is it. So in terms of how she recreated the design and colors, considering the products that they have in this salon, I think it's pretty good. As for the shape, there is some things I would like to point out, so let's give a close-up look and I will share what things I think should be improved. This is the close-up of this set, and first thing I think anyone would notice is that this part's everywhere, and you may think that this is skin, but no, this is actually acrylic. So she was touching my skin a lot with a brush, and I assume some powder was still on this brush, and this is why it looks like this. So it looks like there is no fresh manicure on my hand, like this is skin, but I actually did manicure myself, so it's supposed to look a little differently. Top coat, acrylic leftovers, they're like everywhere. Okay, so now this part is even worse. So there is no margin between the product and my cuticle, so this is going to lift within a few days, like 100%. Okay, we have top coat right here all the way to the skin. Now let's take a look from the side view. So these nails are curved, and this is the matter of personal preference. I mean, I'm not going to judge this part, you know, some people may like nails like this, but this part is really bad and has nothing to do with style and personal preference, is the missing sidewall. Do you see where my natural nail begins? So from this part to this, we're supposed to have product or tip. So normally we should have picked a bigger tip or not file it that much. So when this part is missing, that means that the apex is not built properly, not to mention that apex itself is missing too. So normally I would add more product right here, and definitely all the way here the product should be as well. And it looks like this almost on each nail. Well, maybe not that bad here, but once again, you see, so my nails have a pretty deep curve, and that means they should be covered all the way from this side. So when you look from the top view, you cannot immediately notice that the sidewalls are missing, but once you look from the side. So this is what makes nails super easy to break, and honestly I even have this feeling like once I press too hard like this, it's about to pop off, to break. They don't even feel like, you know, like I don't feel that my nails are secured. Okay, what else? So we have a little product missing here. So I'm definitely not happy with the cuticle work. First of all, because my skin is covered with this one. I'm not going to take it off now because I didn't want to, you know, irritate my skin. Actually, maybe we can do it carefully, but what I would do is just take a hot shower today and maybe tomorrow, and they will come off. So technically it seems like not a big deal, unless you are allergic, because this was direct exposure of monomer to the skin. So once you do it on a regular basis, even a person who never had allergic reactions to acrylic may have them.
All right, now as for the design itself, I think she did a pretty good job. I mean, the foil and the colors are very close to what was in the picture. She mentioned that they may not have exact colors, and that's okay, I totally understand that. She did a good job of doing ombre, because doing ombre with this color all the way to the clear is not that easy, and that was good. And as for the shape, so this nail of mine is a little crooked, this one is not, and as we can see, the shape, like these two nails are definitely are crooked to this side, so I would center them a little differently, and that is still possible to fix even after applying the tip not correctly. I mean, you can still fix it with a nail file, but when you have a very limited time, I assume this is not something not you really pay attention to. So there was another issue. Oh, okay, so this is the leftover of this black part, the only one that we have. As you can see from the other side, there's also a sidewall missing, so technically the apex area, which is supposed to be the thickest part of the nail, is like this. It's super thin. These nails are going to break once I slightly hit something. And oh my god, okay, here I can clearly see that this sidewall is over filed too. And also I would definitely add a little less product near the cuticles.
This is how I went to the worst rated nail salon in the area. I think I got lucky because it doesn't look like the worst manicure ever. I think it all depends on the nail technician, so I assume when I show the picture I would like to create, I had a pretty experienced nail technician, but I noticed that most negative reviews were regarding broken nails or product chipping or lifting after 2 or 3 days. So most people were mentioning that these nails don't last. And I understand why. When there's no apex, when the sidewalls are missing, they're not going to last long. That's it. Let me guys know, what do you think? Do you know the worst rated salon or nail technician in your area, and have you ever had a similar experience? Please share in the comments. If this is your first time here on my channel, consider subscribing, as I normally post product reviews and tutorials on this channel. Thank you, and see you in my next one. Goodbye.